Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be going into Blender 3D, importing an SVG vector, and then extruding some of the faces to create kind of a 2.5D model that we can export in or out to a STL file. So let's get started. Okay, here we are in Blender. We're going to actually take a SVG file and convert it to an STL that we can load up in another program like VCarve. So what we'll do is take that SVG, we'll extrude it a little bit to give it some depth, and then we'll export it. And if you get really good with Blender, I'm not anymore. I used to use it a little bit, but I haven't used it recently very much, except for this process. And if you get good at it, you can actually do some pretty cool stuff with your model. But let's just go forward with what we have here. So this is a new project. I'm just going to delete the cube. What you'll do is you'll prepare your SVG file. So you're going to go import scalable vector graphics SVG, and then I've got my file here on my drive. And what you're going to notice at first, and we're going to just click this Z overhead view here, the model came in really small. So what we want to do here is just go ahead and scale that up so we can work in just a better unit space here. So you're going to select it. You can hit A as well to select everything, and then hit S to scale, and then type 100. So we're going to scale it up to 100 in my case. I mean, you may need to experiment with that in your situation. We'll shift middle click the mouse to move here. It's way over here, so what we're going to do is move this guy down. So we'll go over here and select this move, and then just grab these axial handles. I don't know what you want to call them. And then just kind of get that positioned in the center pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just find it's easier to work with when it's in the center. So it still has this as the anchor point of the model, or I guess you could call it the center of gravity or something, but that's not going to cause us any issues in this particular case. Now what you might want to do is actually, and I don't know how to do this yet, but you might want to get into the edit mode of this model and recenter all the vertices around the center of the origin, the world origin in the model. But anyway, so we've got the model moved to the center. We can kind of rotate here. Oh, we dropped it down too far. We don't want to do that. Let's undo that again here. We don't want it below the ground. So let's figure out what we did wrong. We're going to Control Z to get that back. Okay, so it was when I scaled it, I messed it up. So let's try this again. This is probably, and this is why I like to scale it up, because when it's down this small, you see how the zoom is. I'm rolling the mouse wheel and it's not zooming anymore, because you get down into this small units that are not acceptable. So anyway, we're gonna go back to the Z. I think maybe it's because I was in the Z axis when I clicked the scale button. So let's just kind of leave it where it was, kind of at this angle here. We're gonna select that again, hit S to scale. Yeah, there we go. It's scaling off the origin now. I thought that scale line looked a little weird earlier. So you just want it to remain in the X and Y plane, anywhere in this plane, right? So 100, we're just typing it in, enter. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so again, we'll move it kind of closer to the center here, just to work with it. And now we should be able to rotate around it. Yeah, it's in the middle. Okay, so that's much better. All right, so what we're gonna do is select the whole mesh. Again, you can just click A, and then we're gonna go up here and go back to the selection option, and we're gonna go Object, Convert. Oops, I don't know what I just clicked. Object Convert Mesh. Okay, so that now becomes a mesh, or each individual one becomes a single mesh of vertices. So we're going to hit the tab key, or you can just go up to object mode and change it to edit mode. And then again, select all your vertices, or just click A. And then let's kind of rotate up so we can see what's going on. You're going to hit E to extrude, and that's one of these over here. I think extrude region, it might be that one, but. think that does the same thing, but we're just going to press E. Oh, yeah, there's tells you right here. So shortcut is Shift Spacebar E. So I'll just tap E. That now lets you extrude this, and we're going to extrude it to a number that's, since that's the tallest thing in our model, I'm just going to use 0.5. I mean, you could use any number, but because you can scale this down when you get into VCarve, but we just want something that's something we can work with right now. So 0.5, we'll just go with that. Hit Tab to get out of that, and then we can go over to one of the other ones. Let's say we only want to extrude this one a very small amount because it's in the very back of the or it's at the very bottom of the model. So we will select everything with A, extrude with an E, and then 0.1. So that one's going to be just slightly extruded, and then we'll select the things in the middle, whatever you consider to be. Well, let's say the helmet's probably like a 0.4. It's going to be outside of his face. Let's do 0.3 because I think the face would be around 0.2. Helmet would be around 0.3. So let's do that. So then we're going to tab in, A to select everything, E to extrude, 0.3 and enter. Okay, and then tab to get back out. And basically just do this with all of the different parts, and I'm just going to quickly select all these with Shift held down. We'll do that one. That one we'll do at a different level. The hair I want to be outside of his face, so we'll do that also at maybe like 0.35. So tab, A for all, extrude 0.35, enter, tab to get back out. Once you kind of get the hang of this, it's pretty straightforward. We'll give this, and maybe this one in the back here, A for all, E for extrude. Let's do 0. What have I not done yet? Like 2 or 2.53. Let's just do 0.3. And then let's see if that's right, because I think I might have done the helmet at 0.3 now that I'm thinking about it again. If it did, then that's too high up. Yeah, that's too high up. So let's do 0.2 on that one. So just Control Z to undo that extrusion a few times. And then E again for extrude, 0.2, enter. Okay. Now that looks better. Okay, so you kind of see at a glance what's going on there. And then we still have the eye brow. We're going to tab in, A for all, select all, E to extrude, and we'll go to 0.3 on that, just above the skin. And then tab out. So I think that's pretty much it. We've got all the pieces. And now you've made it a extruded extruded SVG that we're going to now export as an STL. There's only one more piece to this. We will hit A to select everything, and then we'll go up here to Object and Convert. Sorry, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to right click and say Join. That's what I meant to do there. Okay, so now we'll select that. It's a single mesh, and we're going to go File, Export as a STL. And I already got one here, but I'm just going to call it Vic. So now if we swap over to VCarve, let's maximize this here. In VCarve, and I was just setting up a new project here. We'll go File, Import Component 3D Model, and then go to Vic, which we just created. And there you have it. So it's pretty much as simple as that. And then you're basically just going to reuse the existing VCarve interface like you normally do. We'll shrink this down a little bit. Let's say we want it to be 10 inches total. So let's do like 8 inches overall. And then we'll do, well, I think that's really all we need to do. The thickness is pretty good on this. It's on a 3/4 inch material, so it looks pretty good. I think it'll work. So that's kind of how I did that. Pretty straightforward. Thanks for watching. Please check out my other video to see how I actually use this STL output in a CNC carving using VCarve.